Okay, we are trying something new here. For this year, I'm going to try to make a weekly reading update. I guess reading and any other book-related matters that I'd want to talk about. Just to keep in touch and stay in contact. This is Michelle's Melancholia, where we talk about books to fear and shed a tear. And this is my first reading update of 2023. I actually haven't finished a single book this year. You know how some people start the year super energized, super positive, extra productive and all that? I feel like for me, it always takes a little bit of time to get going. Like January is never my best month for anything. I mean, the holidays are tiring. So right now I'm still gaining momentum. Also, as you've probably noticed, I'm finally back home. And unfortunately, I've been dealing with very intense jet lag these past few days. I was planning to participate in the Scary Sleepover booktube event hosted by Alex the Bookkeepers, but it was just impossible for me to do anything. I go back to work tomorrow, so I think my circadian rhythm is going to be forced to go back to normal. I hope. Anyways, I did start 2 books. The first one is for Kelly's From Hell book club, and that is Audrey Rose by Frank DeFelitta, which was first published in 1975. And this one started pretty okay for me. It did set up the premise very clearly in about the first 20%. We follow the Templeton family. They live in New York. They are a bit annoying, not gonna lie. They're like the perfect family. There is Mr. Templeton, Mrs. Templeton, and their 10-year-old daughter Ivy. And as I said, they're all perfect. The husband and wife love each other so much, and their child is beautiful. The most beautiful child you'll ever see. But mom and dad have started noticing that for a while a man has been kind of stalking them, or actually stalking their daughter Ivy. So their perfect little lives are being disrupted by this. And then one day finally the man approaches them and tells them that he is convinced that Ivy is the reincarnation of his dead daughter. The writing for this one is fine, but it's not my favorite style. It uses this really weird strategy to kind of create suspense. I don't know if there's a proper term for it, but for example, it would be narrating something about the dad, and then it would say, "If only Mr. Templeton knew what horrible things awaited in the future," or something like that. That just seems unnecessarily dramatic. Like, I think the story is suspenseful enough on its own. We don't need the author to tell us that horrible things are going to happen. But anyways, it's fine so far. Nothing groundbreaking, but I'm just happy to keep reading. The other book I started is my first pick for the 12 Friends 12 Books challenge. And to start, I chose Ripper Country by Jack Harding, chosen by Adam from the Instagram account Adam Tries Books. I have no idea why I chose to start with this one. I think I was just in the mood for short stories. And the description for this book only mentioned that these were dark stories set in Victorian London. And I think it vaguely said it was about criminals or crime. But now that I've read the introduction to the book, it is stories inspired by Jack the Ripper, which makes sense because the title is Ripper Country. I just never put 2 and 2 together. And I've only read the first 2 stories, but I kind of like the style. It looks like it mixes a little bit of fact with the fiction. So we do get a few details about real victims and the actual circumstances in which they were murdered, and then creates a fictional setting and story around them. But the stories are not about them or Jack the Ripper, it's just awful things that happen at around the same time and kind of like reference the things that did happen. It's very interesting so far. The only thing that I'm worried about is that the two first stories were not too different from each other. So I don't know to what extent the book will become repetitive, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated next week. And those are all the reading updates I have for you this week, but I thought it would be fun to share some book mail. I came home from my holidays to three parcels, and we all know that finding a book in your mailbox always brightens up your day. The first parcel was from Paul Shepard. He is an author with whom I recently connected on Twitter, and he's looking to promote his work a little bit more, so he sent me one of his books for review, Terraforming. That's him, P.A. Shepard. And I didn't mention this in my intentions video, but I will also be trying to review more books this year, and especially from indie authors, small press, and also books on NetGalley. But anyways, let me read to you the description of this book in case you are interested in reading it as well. When all else has failed, Dr. Lila goes through extraordinary lengths to save her patient. Using untested technology, she undergoes a process of digitization and downloads her consciousness onto a nanocraft to explore the ever-expanding tumor pressing against her patient's brain. What she finds is far from what she expected, an entire universe inhabited by big game hunters, criminal cartels, and timeless monsters. Suddenly, digitalization and ethical dilemmas are the least of her concerns as she searches for a cure within the tenebrous bubble of reality. This really sounds like the type of book I enjoy, although I may be a tough crowd for these, because I do find it hard to suspend disbelief when it comes to matters of the brain and the mind, consciousness, and all of that. But I'll be giving you my opinion on the book maybe next month or so. The next parcel was from Jason, a subscriber who I've mentioned before in the channel. He doesn't have a channel of his own, but he has started posting about books on his Instagram, so I will link it below. He is extremely knowledgeable about not only horror but also science fiction, and he has really good taste. He reads a lot of really dark stuff, so he's able to give very good recommendations, and he sent me two books that have been on my wish list forever. The first one is Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Set Bright, and I've heard that this is really dark, disturbing, perverse, and all those wonderful things, so I'll be looking forward to reading it. And the second one is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, which are also really dark stories inspired or based on fairy tales and legends, and actually this one will be perfect for a booktube event that's happening next month, and that is Folklore February, which will be hosted by Kat from Kat's Novel Adventures. I will link her announcement video below because it looks great, and I already have so many ideas of horror books that would be perfect for it. And finally, I received my very first Shelterbox Book Club book. This is it. So Shelterbox is an organization that provides homes and other essentials to people all over the world, people who need them. And when you sign up for the book club, you pay at least £10 every month, and you receive a book every 6 weeks. And this I'm going to read from the website. Each book is inspired by people and places in the real world, people who have been helped by Shelterbox in an emergency. So this is a really good place to read about different places in the world that we may not be so familiar with. So I'm just gonna open this one up right now. It includes a pamphlet with more information about the organization and the work they do. And the book I have received is War Gardens, A Journey Through Conflict in Search of Calm by Lulash Snow. And I'll read the description for you. In this millennium, we have become war-weary. From Afghanistan to Iraq, from Ukraine to South Sudan and Syria, from Kashmir to the West Bank, conflict is as contagious and poisonous as Japanese knotweed. Working in the world's most dangerous war zones, freelance war correspondent and photojournalist Lalash Snow has chanced across many testimonies to the triumph of the human spirit. War Gardens is a surprising, tragic, and beautiful journey through the darkest places of the modern world, revealing the ways people make time and space for themselves and nature. Illustrated with Lalash Snow's own award-winning photography, this is a book to treasure. And the cool thing is that for 3 days in February there will be a forum open for all members of the book club to discuss. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. I didn't predict reading a book about gardens, but it does look beautiful, so I'll also update you on this when I read it. That is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the update. Please do leave me a comment if you have any thoughts on any of the books I talked about today. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye!